Mr. Parandudu at this stage.
Thank you.
So if all this evidence is here in front of us, how come that report said that there was no evidence of work done?
Well, I think, thank you very much, moderator. The facts don't lie. What Engineer Konyaha is saying means that he renovated 27 health centers at the rate of about 65 million naira each, if you work it out.
No, it's not true.
No, wait a minute. When you work out the number, well, whatever it is. And the fact, as far as we are concerned, is as a government, is that this job was not executed. I'm even hearing now with him that he supplied all these things. And it is for this reason also, if you remember, a few days ago, that the government empaneled a commission of inquiry to look into all these things. And we have brought these issues to the public domain. And I think it's up to Engineer Konyaha to prove this thing beyond whatever the state government has said, and not come to the television station and be brandishing, like you said, computer images of whatever may have been done. And I think also the Attorney General will come into this point. I'm also aware that the governor, for instance, maybe when he comes, he'll come to that, has actually gone to court on this matter. Now, that's as far as it relates to Engineer Konyaha. He has the opportunity to prove his point. Facts don't lie. If those things were there, we would have seen them in Imo State. Done to the standards possibly he may have been engaged to do. Then on
have
this,
you seen any of the cottage hospitals? Have you seen
the
health centers? Have you seen any of the health centers?
Well, I have
personally.
No, I haven't.
You haven't. So
no,
you don't know whether.
Wait a minute. I have what may have been what may have passed as a job done by Konyaha cannot be justified by Cyprus. Yes. Cannot be justified by what we have on ground. And these are issues we are raising. And these issues have been raised by the state government. Okay. And we have provided a platform.
Yeah,
yes.
No, before we leave
Therefore,
can I say
I'm sorry. Therefore,
yes.
The point you're making is not that there's no evidence of work done. There's no evidence of work done as claimed by the consultant.
Yes.
There are two different things.
Yes, and let me just add something there. What is the state government's case against Cyprus? The Office of the Auditor General of Imo State is created directly by the Constitution. It is that same Constitution that creates the Office of Governor that creates the government. And the Constitution gives direct powers of investigation and auditing to the Office of the Auditor General of the local government. The Auditor General of the local government, in accordance with the constitutional powers granted to him, had done an audit of this project. And look at what he says. The statutory audit carried out by the Auditor General of local government area, he noted as follows, and let me quote the report. There is no evidence of a contract agreement.
1.
Certificates and payments, vouchers or receipts acknowledging payment. The Auditor General further revealed that there was no approval for the project. Close quote. Okay. Now, 1 minute. What does a responsible government do to a responsible citizenry? The Constitution again says that in the determination of the rights and obligations of a citizen is entitled to fair hearing before a judicial panel of inquiry, composed in such a manner as to ensure its independence, and that is given full access to go before it and defend
the
itself.
Auditor General.
So 1 minute. So what we have just done is this: if it is true that what the Auditor General has said is correct, then the government must do something. And what he has done is to set up a judicial panel of inquiry that will now look into this matter and give Cyprus consult all the opportunities that he needs to appear before them, to join issues on this and defend this. Okay. If at the end of the day it is discovered that his version of the story is correct, obviously the judgment is going to be in his favor. And that's it.
Okay, but I'm surprised that the part that you quoted, because he just showed us a letter of award.
That's the letter. This is the contract agreement.
Maybe you want to pass it on to the Attorney General.
The report didn't say that there was no letter of award. Look at what the report says. There is no evidence of a contract agreement. Assuming there's a contract agreement, and assuming that it exists, and assuming, for instance, it is not in proper custody, then the Auditor General will not have an opportunity.
Let me also make a point. Let me make a point here.
Excuse me.
Evidence of your receipts.
Precisely.
And
And these are the things that are now, the onus is now on him to go before the panel to say these are the things I have.
Sorry,
Please,
we will-
excuse
we will
me.
speak
Excuse
for-
me.
that we're auditing.
Excuse
Why
me.
did they not invite this
Exactly.
man
Why did
at
they
that
invite
point
him?
before going to public?
Excuse me.
No,
Please,
no,
you will
no, no.
please
These are
wait.
these are two
Please
distinct.
I
hold
mean,
on.
they are not
No, these are two
distinct.
It's
distinct.
okay, huh?
What the Auditor
There is a
General
standard
does.
auditing.
Excuse me.
What the Auditor
The
General
viewers at
does.
home,
Gentlemen.
What the Auditor
Gentlemen,
General does is to
gentlemen.
look at the books available to him
Attorney
and to the
General.
Was there any of
bureaucracy.
this query?
Okay.
Give it to me.
Please let
Let-
us try
That I
to
didn't
speak
respond
one
to.
after the other
Go
so
ahead.
Yes.
that people can follow us.
Yes.
Exactly.
Okay. So let's start with this. You have the documentary evidence of the contract. Now, would you want to take a look at that and say that may not have been issued
Or this is
by,
a fake.
or this is fake? That it may not
For
have been.
instance, let's look at this. You give it to me. This agreement is made this dash day of dash.
2010,
It
no
doesn't have a
date.
date.
Okay.
Is it genuine? Any
You're a
lawyer
lawyer,
will
you
tell
will
you
know.
that one very fundamental and very critical aspect of an agreement that it has to have a date. Now, on this face value, this doesn't have a date.
Excuse me.
Now wait, let me look further. I'm just saying this for the first time.
But you say that there was no agreement.
No, but it doesn't have a date.
Go back and look at
For
it.
the avoidance of that, I'm
There's
going to
a
take clarity.
sign.
There's a date
I
at
am
the
the
bottom.
Attorney General, not the Auditor
No,
General.
Attorney
Go
General.
and
Now,
look at
now
the dates.
again, look at this.
Go and
Look at this
the
again.
dates.
Again on the face value.
Go and
Signed,
look at
sealed,
the
and
dates.
delivered. 1 minute,
Sorry.
sir.
One
Go and
minute.
look at the
Listen.
Signed, sealed, and delivered by Barrister Kezi Ogaziechi in the presence of nobody.
Nobody.
Nobody witnessed this agreement. And again, it's also an elementary principle of law that when an agreement provides for witnessing, its validity is not complete unless there's a witness. So even on the face of the document here,
And you have just brought
this
it
is
for the
faulted.
television.
Okay.
This is
So-
faulted. But the point we're making is still very simple. Assuming the Auditor General had come out with a report, the government is entitled to kickstart the process. So far, Cyprus cannot complain that any of these fundamental rights as guaranteed by the Constitution has been breached. Why? Because this is a report that was submitted to government, based on which there is a panel of inquiry. I thought what we would have been talking about at this stage is this. The commission of inquiry that has been set up, is it such as will guarantee its impartiality and neutrality in these matters? Is it so that Cyprus Press will have an opportunity of being heard? Is it so that they will be able to get fair justice before them? And my answer to this question is that if you look at the caliber of the people who are the chairmen and members of these commissions of inquiry, you will come to the conclusion that the government set out not to shunt anybody, but to give everybody an opportunity of getting all the facts.
Okay,
Attorney
so
General.
that has been kickstarted now.
Yes.
Okay. Now, what about the issue of red brick?
Yes.
Okay.
Brick red.
Oh, brick red.
Brick red, sorry.
Let's also look at the issue of brick red. For government, and I want to make this point very clear now. Whether it is in a civil or criminal domain, the entire judicial process is started when somebody has a complaint. And it is without your complaint that you approach the body. Now, we have a complaint against Brick Red. What is our complaint? Our complaint is that Brick Red was paid directly from the JAC account of government.
What is a JAC account?
Joint Account Allocation Committee of the local governments. It's a joint committee of the state of government officials and the local government chairman and local government officials and the commissioner for local government and all that. It is this committee that sits and disburses funds meant for the local governments to the local governments. Therefore, our question starts this way, that it is wrong, it is illegal for the Joint Account Allocation Committee to have dipped its hands into the coffers of the joint local government funds and taking money from there to pay bricklayers.
Just
That
for
is
clarity,
hardly
That's
Brick
I'm
Red's
coming,
problem.
I'm coming.
Now,
That's-
let's
I'm coming.
correct an issue.
That is
one
not
minute.
Brick
Wait a
Red's
minute,
issue.
wait a minute.
One minute.
Let's correct.
Gentlemen, you
Let's
discovered
correct
that
an
throughout the period he spoke, I kept quiet.
No, let's
Would I then be given a fair opportunity of also putting our own case across?
Okay,
If I
please.
advance the courtesy to him of keeping quiet throughout the period they talked, I am entitled to have it reciprocated.
Absolutely.
So,
Honorable AG,
assuming
my point is
Yes.
that, I mean, government pays me. I don't want to know where they wrote the check from or which bank they drew the check on. They owe me, they've paid me.
You are right.
It is hardly Brick Red's issue
You are right.
that the money came from Jack
You are-
account.
Point of
Sorry,
information.
One minute.
sorry.
What do you say?
Look,
Please let him
Dan Okehi. You talked. I
Don't
kept
worry,
quiet.
please go to your
Let me
point.
talk.
We have
Please go ahead.
limited
Now,
time.
the Judicial Panel of Inquiry is not restricted to him. The terms of reference of the inquiry includes looking at government officials, both past and present. Looking at whether the things they did were right or rightly done, which means, for instance, that if this error was committed and not committed by him, then somebody committed it.
Okay.
Whosoever it is,
Okay.
the panel will look at him.
Okay.
Then
So what's the next issue?
secondly, government has investigated this matter and has discovered that the money was actually used to purchase foreign exchange in 3 transactions occurring between the 2nd and the 6th day of October 2008 using Spring World Bureau de Change and Candor Bureau de Change, and both were paid by transfer through Intercontinental Bank. And it's a contention that these councillors and supervisors and all that who are paid are our brothers and sisters and relations, and they live in our locality. And we didn't see any of them brandishing dollars and pounds and all that. So what government is saying is this: whether it is right or wrong, we suspect that there are these 2 irregularities, and therefore let all the people involved, both serving or former, both private people like him and others, have an opportunity of telling us exactly what happened. Is it true that 3.38 billion was paid by way of foreign transfer through these 2 bureau de change? And I tell you something, government is not in a position to pass judgment in this matter. Government is only in a position to raise issues worthy of investigation. And that is what government has just done, and these issues will now be investigated in a thorough and impartial manner by the Judicial Panel of Inquiry. And all that needs to happen is this, this bureau de change, the officials of government at that time will have an opportunity of coming to say, it is true that we did it and this is the reason why we did it, or it is not true that we did it because this was what else we have done.
Okay, before I ask Dr. Dan Okehi a question, I'd like to find out from the Attorney General, is it a crime if I borrow money from Intercontinental Bank and when my money is being paid back and I turn it into foreign currency, is it a crime? Is anything wrong with it?
No, on this face value, no. But look at this.
No, it's just a question.
Was
I'd
that
like a
what
yes
happened?
or no.
Was that what-
Well,
Let him
they
listen.
borrowed
Let
money.
him, let him listen.
No.
You see,
Was that what
let me-
happened?
let
Did
me-
you
excuse
get the question I asked you?
Yes.
I'll ask again.
That if your money is paid to you, whether you have a right to convert it to foreign currency.
Well,
Of course,
I
you
don't
need
know.
to have.
Okay, so in that wise, it is not a crime. Then let's ask Dr. Dan Okehi.
Now,
You
before,
borrowed money
Yes.
from Intercontinental Bank.
yes,
Money was paid back from JAC account, joint allocation account of
Yes.
the local government and state. And when this money was paid back from what was supposedly not the right account to pay from, and you got that money, you went to Intercontinental Bank, is it true that the money was then turned into foreign currency through Spring Bureau de Change?
Spring World
yes.
Bureau de
You see,
Change.
you asked him a good
No,
question.
I would want
yes,
your
Now, hold
response
on.
very
The
quickly.
issue,
Yes.
the issue was clear. The money I borrowed didn't come from the state government. As
came
you
from
said,
Intercontinental
yes,
Bank.
Intercontinental. I have the right to use the money judiciously. By early October 2008, it was an open secret that the naira was depreciating.
So you turned
The
money
bank
into foreign
advised
currency.
that we use half of the money. The figure they quoted there was not correct. We use part of the money to hedge against the devaluation of the currency naira, so that we can make some gain at the end of the day. And that was exactly what happened.
That's
when we
allowed.
paid,
It's not illegal, is it?
Yes, when we were paying, and at the point we needed the money converted back to Naira, we did. And remember, this money borrowed wasn't the state money. The state government has not given us 1 penny at that point. They started paying when we have finished disbursement. And by that time, by the time they've started, all the money, whether and first of all they put it on deposit, because there was no point putting idle fund over 2 billion in a current account. The bank advised us, and properly we
Let's move on very
heeded to
quickly
their
then.
advice.
Let's move on very